And now 2 weeks already gone and you haven't done anything. How long are you want to waste your time? Like step up, get this sorted, change your life. And the following day, everything changed. So when I decided to change, everything changed. I started applying for the job. I went to university and I asked friends, how could I improve my English? How could I improve my listening? How could I prepare for my lesson so I can understand the teacher say?
If you do not learn how to have healthy disagreements, you will always be challenged. And these healthy disagreements could be within yourself, not just with others. And I'm so grateful to have with me Anna today. We're going to talk about these topics and a few others. Anna, welcome, my dear.
Thank you, Rimmer. It's a pleasure for me to be here with you.
Would you start us off by telling the audience a little bit about your background so they understand who you are?
Okay, so I was original from Vietnam, and at age 24, everything like I didn't see the future with whatever I did at the time. So I made a very bold decision to quit my accountant job and to convince my family to invest in my education so that I can study English full time. And I managed to study English within 7 months to achieve enough the qualification for me to apply for a master degree in the UK. And then September 2015, I moved to UK study master degree. I didn't have any family members. I didn't know anybody in the UK, but I was so wanting to change my life and I was so determined to lean into the unknown and believe that is a window opportunity for me to change my life. And that turned out to be one of the most wonderful decisions I ever made in my life. And I discovered so much inner strength and capability I have. And I live in UK since then. At the moment, I'm a life coach. I'm helping women who dream big. They want to live inspiring life, but have so many limiting beliefs. They're afraid to stepping out their comfort zone. But I want to advocate for them to live up to their true potential. I also work for aviation company as business development manager, and I really enjoy my life. I really love it so much.
Would you take us back to when you even asked your parents to sponsor, to help you with your education? Because growing up in Vietnam is a lot different than being in the UK. Take us through that little bit of what life is like growing up in Vietnam.
Right. So I love this question because it's it will tell a part of who I am. I was raised in a very traditional family, and in particular, my father believed a woman need to serve the family, meaning sacrifice everything for the family. And those sort of education is granted in my unconscious mind. I believe that. But whenever I try to speak up, I did not feel safe because what my parents believe you as a child you should follow, you should not disagree with the elderly. So I have a lot of internal conflict as a child, and when I was teenager, I know deep inside, even a child, I know I want freedom. Like I want to be free. But I don't know how to speak up for myself. And whenever I speak up, I'm afraid to be punished by my father. But I follow my parents, I follow my brother advice or instruction. But when I was 24, I got a job. I have a very good education, but I was facing a tremendous challenge in the relationship. And I stopped to question myself, like, is it something I don't know? Because I follow my parents, I follow my brother, and this is the outcome I have. And I certainly could not see the future if I carry on, right? So I said, I need to give myself a permission to speak up for me and to make a decision for my life. And I was willing to bear any consequences, even could be my father could be very angry or mad at me, but I need to speak up for me at least one to see what I don't know. Like I need to try, right? So when I convinced my parents, like, listen, I want to quit my job. I want to study English so I can work for international company. My mom and my brother were so excited because they believe in me. I was very, very hardworking student. They believe I can do it. But my father, he was so angry and mad at me because from his point of view, like 24 years old woman, you should focus on finding husband. Why do you think about quitting your job and start your life over again? It's just stupid idea. That's what he said. But I know, like, no, there's something I must not know. And I follow my intuitions and I will willing to embrace and endure the pain from him to just keep focus on what I really want to do is to focus on study English. It wasn't easy. I believe that 2, 3 years I didn't really have a close relationship with my father, but it turned out when I moved to UK and I got internship like 10 months after I landed in UK. I was a captain of my own life. I got sponsorship like after 4 months during the internship. So I show my family, in particular my father, like, look at, I made a decision. This is the outcome I produce, right? And gradually I believe I earned trust in him. And now he believe in what I'm doing. He believe that I make the best decision for my life.
Take me back again, because we went to the age of 24, and I know at the age of 21, you graduated from college, and their mission for you was to get married and find a husband, which is
Yes.
very typical for a lot of uh, cultures, is that that's what women are intended to do. And within you, you felt differently, but you still went through the process of having a relationship. Take us through that, because I think that's so helpful to a lot of young women
Mm,
that struggle within themselves
mm,
to figure out who they are, not what
mm,
everyone else is telling them, but who am I? So take
mm.
us to that process at the age of 21, graduating, before you even made that bold decision that I'm going to stand up for me.
So, oh, age 21, I graduated from one of the top university in Vietnam. I thought, I'm done with my life. I have everything sorted. Now only one mission's missing is to find somebody to get married. To be honest, I was so ignorant, naive, and ignorant about life. Like, I didn't have any education about life. I didn't have any education about, like, relationship, how to position myself, how to believe in my own value and dignity, how to set boundaries to protect myself in a relationship. So I was craving for somebody to save my life. Like, I didn't even believe, like I didn't believe in me, okay, I want to get married because somebody gonna take care financially, somebody gonna take care of me, and that would be my dream come true. And I believe the friends is similar age with me or similar generation, they believe the same. Why? Because from the parent generations, that what a typical woman, you got a job now time to focus to find husband. Nobody taught me, like, like, focus on yourself, become more valuable, become independent, learn how to know who you are, learn how to speak up for yourself, learn how to set boundaries. None of those exist in my world at those age. And it's very common in Asia.
And how did you begin to find your voice? Because you did go through a difficult relationship at that point of being 21. Like you said, you had no other preference for being in a relationship. What was that like, as you did have someone that you thought you were going to get married to, or you had a relationship with?
You want to know the age of 24, what happened to
The
me, or?
21, at the 21 age, and that
Right,
relationship,
right.
your
So
first one.
it's really what I want to find somebody to get married. That is my target, right? I was on my mission and I was dedicated on that mission. So anybody come to my life, look okay, have a good job, then I believe that could be my future husband. Well, I believe the universe have a bigger plan for me. That's why given to me a massive test at that age. Like I was in a relationship with my ex-boyfriend at the time 4 months, and everything went like beautifully because 4 months in the relationship is the beginning of the relationship, wasn't it? And then all of a sudden he said, my mom don't believe like we are synchronized for each other in terms of age, because in Asia they believe so much about age, find somebody to have a good match with you. So he said, my mom doesn't believe we are a good match. It's time to break up. So I was someone, this is as an essence of who I am, and it's still very true until like nowadays. Like I advocate for liberations. Like you have full freedom to make what's best for you. If you want to leave me, go for it. I'm not gonna holding you back. I'm sad, I'm experiencing the pain, but I will not holding you back. Because if you in a relationship with me, I want you to be inspired. I want you to be happy to be with me. So I was in pain, but I would accept right away. And then a month after, when I still remember that day. I was sitting on my desk in the office. Like we have around 20, 30 people sitting in that floor early, like around 1 or 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And one of my colleagues sent me a message, said, like, your ex get married today. To be honest with you, I think that is one of the biggest pain, the biggest news I ever received. I did not have any support. I feel ashamed to share with my family because I was raised in a good family. I was a good girl, like in airport, right? Good girl, studied very well, good job. Like, how could this possible? Like, I could not comprehend how this happened to me. But I think the biggest pain is nobody to share the pain with. Like, can you understand? Like, 21 years old lady didn't have any direction of life, could not share with anybody because of the shame.
So you took that event to mean that you weren't okay. And that's where the shame came from.
Like something wrong with me. Like what's wrong with me? Like that's what one of the most dangerous questions
Mm-hmm.
we tell ourselves when we experience relationship breakup or endure failure, encounter failure. Like what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I think that's the most dangerous question. That's what I asked me. Like, what's wrong with me?
How did you start to get over that so that you can move forward? Because from that to the age of 24, before you actually made the decision that you're going to stand up for yourself and learn English and all of that, how did you go through that process thinking a young lady that's going through something similar, how can she stand up for herself? Because it's really difficult, especially in cultures when the parents' thinking is a lot different than the new generation that's coming up.
Mm.
How did you go through that and got to take care of you?
So it wasn't stopping there, right? So after 1 month, like I already accept. It's so much pain, but I accept it. And then 1 month after, he sent me a message and he said, I'm so sorry. I fucked up. You are the person I'm falling in love, not this woman. I'm so sorry. It's the biggest mistake I ever made. And for me, I turned to 22 years old when he sent that message. For somebody, and this is so important for any woman out there to listen, because I have so much like compassion for her, like for my 22 years old version of myself. Because I need validation. I need validation. I need somebody to validate me. I am lovable. I didn't give myself internal validation. I am worthy as who I am. I am lovable as who I am. I am beautiful as who I am. I didn't give that to myself. Of course, how could I know? I didn't have any education. So I need somebody externally, especially in intimate relationship, to validate me like I am lovable. So he loved me, meaning I'm lovable. If he abandoned me, I'm not lovable. And that's so, so, so dangerous.
Extremely.
Extremely dangerous. And I believe this is a bold statement, but you can tell me from your perspective. I believe every single of us would experience that until we learn the lessons.
That is very true, especially as young adults. There's not enough education of how to deal and work on building yourself so that you can be strong in any relationship, especially when you add in there the culture perspective where they're thinking of the adults is that the purpose of a female is to get married and have a family. So
Mm,
add that into the mixture, it makes it so much harder for a lot of young women to validate themselves, to really understand that it's about them. So, from that perspective, as you began to see that piece and you started to make a decision that I'm going to stand up for me, I'm going to move, I'm going to learn English, what was your thinking of what life would be like for you if you went on and did all these things? And I know your dad was not in agreement with you at all, like you said.
mm. Yeah. So I was on and off in the relationship with my ex for like 2 years. And that leads so much pain. Like it leads so much pain, but I believe that I need to go through it to endure the pain to realize this is a dead end road. You must stop and change. Because I was looking for somebody to rescue my life, right? I was looking for somebody externally to validate I am lovable. And that's a dead end road. Sooner or later, we will have to face certain consequences of that belief to realize this is enough. I'm no longer tolerate myself to continue this road. I need to change. So that messy relationship lead me so much pain. And I was experiencing depressions. So I said,
Mm.
age 24 is the darkest period of my life. I could not sleep. I could not eat. It manifests some health issues. And I feel so negative. Like I see things through the negative lens. It was so like in victimhood, like everything about pity. And even I have like best friend and she said, like you're complaining a lot.
Mm.
She even didn't want to spend time with me. So I could not sleep for months and months. I'm confused. I'm I'm so confused. Like what I'm doing with my life here. Like I'm just 23. How could I imagine if I have a daughter? How could I raise a daughter? Like how could I be a mother? I could not see I could be a mother if I continue that road. So a realization. So after so many nights, I could not sleep. That like I could not see the future. Something must change. Something must change. So the belief or the instruction from parent to find somebody to get married, obviously for me, that is not working. That is not working. And now time to change something new. Like I have to take back the control. I have to become valuable. At least get, you know, have a job, like have a good salary. At least that is a good start. So
That's an excellent start.
that is an excellent start. But I was so scared because imagine you study language at age 24. It's very late, very late. But I could not have another choice. I could not see another way. Like I could not see another way. Either I'm gonna mess up my life or take back control.
And what was it like for you to move from Vietnam to the UK? Because not only languages are different, I'm sure life is a lot different.
It's so funny. I was, it's a mixing feeling. The date I depart from Vietnam, I was so scared. I was so scared because I never ever lived overseas. Never. And I remember having a conversation with my brother like a month before my flight to UK. And he asked me, like sincerely, can you do it? And I said, yes, I can.
Mm.
Inside, I did not know how I am going to do it. I did not know the answer. But outside, because I wanted to change my life badly, I reassure every single family member I can do it. Like, don't worry, I will be fine. Don't worry, I will find solutions. But deep inside, I did not know how am I going to do it.
That's huge for taking a step forward, even though you did not know all the pieces that are going to come together. Because that's what stops a lot of people in staying stuck in where they are, or even going a little bit backward into relationships and things because they can't figure out or they can't see within themselves what are the next steps. So it's very wonderful to hear you say that you were telling everyone that it's going to be fine and you can do it, but you were still feeling on the inside like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but you still took the steps. So what was it like as you actually made the departure and were in the UK?
No, the first 2 weeks, the date I landed in UK was 15 September 2015. Everything was so different. I couldn't even communicate with people. And now my family is too far away, like 13, 14,000 miles away. It's not like I'm missing my family, I can go back. Now it's like it's too far away. And believe me, for the first 2 weeks, I was crying like hell. It was so lonely. It's like I growing up having my brother, my family all with me, like all the time. And now I'm at my own in another continent, like when nobody understand what I'm talking about and I could not understand them. That loneliness was crazy. It's really like cold. It's really cold. And the feeling is not belonging. I think that feeling not belonging is meaning loneliness. So I crying almost every single day for the first 2 weeks. But whenever I speak with my family, I did not show any sign of weakness. I did not show any sign of weakness. Everything is fine because I do not want to confuse my family. They invest in me. They invest in me. They believe in me. They bet in me, right? I reassure everyone everything is fine, but I was crying every single night. And then like after 2 weeks, I I think, I cried enough. And I told myself, I have a habit of writing journal, like a way to have a like dialogue with myself. I said, you have 16 months in the UK, right? 16 months is a chance for you to change your life. And now 2 weeks already gone and you haven't done anything. How longer you want to waste your time? Like step up, get this sorted, change your life. And the following day, everything changed. So when I decided to change, everything changed. I started applying for the job. I went to university and I asked friends, how could I improve my English? How could I improve my listening? How could I prepare for my lesson so I can understand the teacher say? So I was so focused. So since I made that decision, I was so focused on how can I maximize my time in the UK? What are the goals in here? Now I'm sit down to break down what is the goal in here and focus on uh, like make that come true. But I really admire her. Like it's incredible. It's incredible. Like the inner strength, like is crazy.
So your solution to the healthy disagreement you were having within yourself was to actually grab your journal and make that commitment to yourself of where you're heading, and then set a goal for yourself. And that's how you got out of that 2 week period of crying and feeling like, okay, how am I going to do this? That was your solution.
That was my solution. I have a lot of I'm someone thinking a lot and I have a lot of introspective. Like I have a lot of internal dialogue with myself.
And that's a key. That's a strong key for a lot of women
Mm,
to listen to themselves
yes.
and to hear that dialogue that goes on within us, especially as young ladies. I can look back to my own life. I did not listen to my internal dialogue at that period of time. And I could see how that had made a difference in how long it took me to find my voice. So kudos to you for listening to that internal dialogue a lot sooner than a lot of people do. Take me then from that point on moving forward, because you're still in the UK, so you were way past the 16 months.
Yes, I did. So seeing that moment when I make a trip to take back control and focus on how can I maximize my chance in the UK. So I break down to like three main goals. And that was I'm so proud of this, but so clever. Like three main goals. Number one, improve English. Number two, find internship. And number three, upgrade my mindset. Like upgrade everything about my mindset, my thinking, the way I talk, the way I behave and position myself. Three main things. Because I'm in London, one of the most civilized city in the world, right?
Yes. A lot different than Vietnam, that's for sure.
For sure, a lot different than Vietnam. So that was a guidance for me to break down to the smaller step. Okay, I have 3 terms in the university. What is my main focus for the first term? What is main focus for second term? What is the main focus for the third one? So I realized the first term is to really gain stability and to find a part-time job in non-Vietnamese restaurant. Play with non-Vietnamese friends. So many Vietnamese students in London, I see they move to UK, but they associate together. And from my point of view, okay, my family made an investment in me. I want to maximize the return on investment. It doesn't make any sense for me to play and spend most of my time with Vietnamese friends. I can spend time with them when I was in Vietnam, but not in here. So I choose non-Vietnamese friends. Of course, I have some Vietnamese friends, but I deliberately spend time with non-Vietnamese friends. I want to work for non-Vietnamese restaurant. So I choose a difficult path. I choose a discomfort path to accomplish what I want to accomplish to improve my English. And it's improved tremendously. And I start finding my voice. I start like building momentum in the school. I gradually become one of the like top performer in the class. And when in the university, when you become one of the top student, get attention from other classmates, right? They want to study with me. They want to ask me questions. They want to hang out with me. And that's the way I connect with non-Vietnamese friends. And then the second goal is to find an internship. The reason for that because I want to have an international experience so I can put in the CV. And then when I go back to Vietnam, I can easily find a job. So that is one of my main focus as well. So all the time searching for a job, like internship, and internship. It wasn't easy because all of the education experience in Vietnam is not automatically transferable to the UK. My English wasn't good enough. I was a student, so I can only work 20 hours per week. Like, who want that? Who wants this student? But I know that is the goal. That is the goal I need to find a way to accomplish. So I attend job fair, any flies in the university, I take a look, I apply. So I do everything I can with the time I have to find the opportunities. And this is like magical. And when you want it badly enough, the university, you pass a test, it will deliver the present. So one day I was studying in the library. And when I study in the library, sometimes I take a break, I walk around the university campus, and I will see what is the like they have a fly in the career sections, and I want to see what is the opportunity in here. So I saw uh, a mentorship program with alumni, like BPP alumni. I studied at BPP University. So I apply. I spend the time to fill the application, like wholehearted, fill the application, all detail, like why do I want it? Why they should choose me? And then I was chosen. I believe it's like 5 students chosen for that program, and I was chosen one of the 5. And the universe allocate me to meet an amazing person. That person changed my life.
Again.
Changed my life.
In which way?
So his name is Paul. He's from Colombia. And I believe he experienced tremendous challenge in his journey of finding a job in the UK and finding stability in UK. So he's somebody like grateful. Like if you think about him, it's somebody grateful for life, right? But even meeting me, he feel blessing, grateful because now I have a chance to helping another human being. And that's something like I never ever believed. Like, how can you, a stranger, like you were so generous about your time. You were so generous about your word of encouragement. You're so generous with your attention to me. Like, I did not believe that could be possible. But that he was so generous. And I met him. Of course, I'm very professional in my own communication and respectful. And I met him. We have a conversation and he give me some advice to rewrite my CV. But when people are all the way searching for talent, right? People all the way assessing who could be in my team, who could be in my employees. Like they always searching for opportunity. And he saw something in me. We keep contact, after the meeting, like we keep contact. He suggests me to go to some job affairs. I went and I keep him posted. That's a way because of who I am, very respectful, and I appreciate what he did to me because I didn't expect that generosity from a stranger. I keep him posted, and I believe that the way I conduct myself, he sees something in me. He saw something in me. So one day he said, Anna, um, I want to invite you to meet our CEO. Just for the chat. Could be helpful for you to prepare for your interview. This is not an interview by all means, just a chat, but could be helpful for you. And I say, thank you so much. Like, I could not believe he's so generous. So I show up. I wear my suit. Even I was student, I didn't have money, but I still bought a cheap kind of, cheap clothes. But I wear formal clothes to show up for the chat, right? And my boss, no, the CEO at the time and my boss at the moment, he asked me, what did what did it cause you to move to UK? Why did you want to study in England? And I share my story. And interestingly enough, my boss and Paul, they had some business in Vietnam. They went to Vietnam before, and my boss was so impressed with Vietnamese people about their grit, about their determination, about their resilience. He's so impressed. So in his mind, like when I show up, it's matching his belief. Check, check, check. And at the end, he said, do you want to work for us? And I said, oh my God, absolutely. I would love to work for you. But at that moment, I studied like 4 days per week. So I only have a 1 day left during Monday to Friday to work for the company. And I told my boss, Mr. David, I call him Mr. David, only 1 month left until I finish my second semester. And after 1 month, I have 1 month off. I can work full time. And the third semester, I only need to go to school 2 days and I have 3 days off. So would it be possible for me to start 1 day per week for 1 month and then however you need me, I am available? I was so wanting the internship. So I become so proactive and creative in my proposal to my boss. And that's the way I approach during my internship. So proactive, so wanting and willing to do whatever it takes. And can you imagine? I commute every single day, like 3 hours by train from London to where the company based, 3 hours every single day. And
That's dedication.
dedication and determination. Like I want this. Like I want this badly. And when you want it, people see. People can feel it. People can see it. And every single day on that journey, there are two other interns in the company. They are men. One of them come from European countries and another one from Pakistani. But I asked myself this question. So I set up a math for myself. I said, if now my boss give a call to my university, he can easily find an intern easily for him. How can I address this challenge that becomes so difficult for him to replace me? How can I become so difficult for him to replace me as an intern so that he could not call? And even he called my university, he could not find, or very difficult for him to find somebody like similar with me. Every single day, how can I become that person? And very soon, like 4 months after I did my intern part-time, he asked me like, do you want to stay? I I believe you are an asset for the company, and we want to sponsor the visa for you to stay in the UK.
Was that something that you had desired at that point, to stay in the UK versus going back to Vietnam?
It wasn't in my plan at all.
So, what occurred within you when that question was proposed to you?
I cried like whole night.
Why?
That cry of happiness, of validations, of faith that I made that bold decision 2 years ago to quit my job, to endure all of this pain, to travel to the road that nobody wanted. And this is what I have. Every single day, like, I bite my tongue that people try to accuse me like you are crazy. People against my decision, like like you should get married. Like, why did you choose to change your life? Why did you want to study? Why did you want to start your life over again? Like, you crazy. Every single day I'm being accused by that person. But I believe, for whatever I explained before, I believe this is the only choice I have. And that is, I think that is an answer for my decision. And I was crying whole night. I couldn't sleep that night.
And obviously, you've stayed and you're still in the UK. After that transition period, and now you're working there, what is life like for you being of Vietnamese descendant, yet still living in the UK? And you actually, even for a period of time, moved on and found a partner.
Mm,
Take me through that process,
right.
because some of that, and people will hear it, is a challenging part in itself.
100%. I believe apart from adapt and find my own place in the UK, that was a journey of self-discovery as well. To to discover who I am, what do I like, what is represent me. For the first, so when I got the job sponsorship and I start working for the company full time, I thought I need to become somebody else to be successful in the job, because I work in business development, and some people say, doing sales job, find a client, talk to clients and so on. So for the first 3 years, I believe, oh, I need to be somebody else. I need to pretend I am an extrovert. I need to be strong and masculine woman. And it's okay, like it's okay to doing that, I'm doing my job okay. But I know there's some misalignment. It wasn't who I am. And I wasn't fulfilled performing and pretending to be somebody else. One day I declare. I don't know where the realization come from, but I declare, no, I'm gonna embrace who I am, and I am in nature an introvert. But I don't need to be an extrovert or pretend to be an extrovert to be likable to other people. Focus on my strengths. What is my strengths in here? So my strength is I'm very focused in my work, and I'm one of the top professional in the company. That is my strength. And people can see it, people can feel it. So I said, you don't need to pretend to be talkative. You don't need to pretend to make people like you. Just focus on what you good best, right? Deliver an excellent services for client. That's it. Be sincere, be honest, honor who you are. And since I make that change, um like everything start moving to an alignment to who I am, and I start feeling more fulfilling. I can start finding my voice and more center about who I am.
And how did you end up in a relationship that you still had conflict within it. Because a part of you, I know because we've talked offline, we're friends, part of you would like to go back to Vietnam in some ways, and a part of you was still in the UK. So in your relationship that ended up in a cancellation of a marriage, take me to that, because there's so much truth in finding ourselves in going through these turmoil times that we think are the worst things that are happening to us, but they genuinely are some of the biggest stepping stones to, again, uncovering who we are.
Yes. It's what you said is so much wisdom in what you said. The event, any event that's happened for us to realize, to discover who we truly are. So I was in that relationship for 5 years and a half, and he truly become my family. Without in a relationship with him, I would end going back to Vietnam long time ago. I have no like solid reason to stay, and living in a foreign land country is a the like a loneliness feeling ever, like you can imagine. It's okay, when life is beautiful, but it's extremely challenging when get sick, when you lose money, when you experience adversity, because you couldn't have family members. There's nobody there for you. And additional to that, like I don't want my family to worry about me, right? If I give a signal to my parents, oh, I'm struggling, oh, I'm sad, oh, I'm feel lonely, they default answer, go back to Vietnam. Why did you stay over there? So there's an internal conflict in me. Like part of me, I am a Vietnamese person and a certain value where I was born is still part of me. And I honor that. And a part of me, I want freedom. I want to be able to live a life of empowerment and liberations. I still want to have a freedom to make my own choice. Like if you love me, like you inspire me to take actions. But if you love me and you use that like I love you and you have to do this to love me, then I would run away. And I have that so many conversation with my parents. Like you cannot use a fear or accusing to love me and asking me to do certain things because I will run away. If you love
That's
me,
huge.
that's huge.
That's huge for people to get. For someone to ask you to love them, to love you, but not allowing you to do the things that you need to do, almost coercing you into what they would like.
And they use that. Could be love, but that's all they know, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I believe now I'm certain about this definition of love is if I love you, Rimmer, I want you to become the best version of yourself. Whether you stay with me or not, but I want you to expand. I want you to express the fullest, the truest version of yourself, to live the fullest of your life. That is love for me. I would not holding you back.
Is that how you got your definition of healthy disagreements?
Wasn't a time when I went through the wedding cancellation, but now after reflecting about what I went through and what I truly value in my life and who get to know who I truly am, I come to that realization what true love really means.
And how do you work on yourself with those disagreements? Because, like you're saying, your parents are still with the mindset that they're in Vietnam. That's where they're living. That's the culture they live in. You have expanded your perspective and who you are and have worked on yourself on a journey of becoming stronger and validating yourself. So when those disagreements come up, because it even came up obviously with your ex, that the marriage did not end up happening, and you still are working and they're still your parents, but your perspective is a lot different. So how do you work on those disagreements within yourself and with the others?
Yes. I think that is one of the most topic that if we want to master who we are, that we have to learn an art of having a healthy disagreement and still honor who we are and still honor who they are. So it wasn't a quick journey for me, not very until recently. But for me to have a healthy disagreement is number one, is to own what you say, to own what you're feeling, to own what you're thinking, because we have a different perspective, we have a different values, we have a different belief, and nothing wrong or right about that. We just have a different views about life, about a topic, right? So first of all is to own and be accountable for my thought, my view, my perspective, my feeling, my value. Own it and understand why that is important to me, so that I can convey a message in the way that neutral to the other person. So how to have, now this is what I learned, how to have a healthy disagreement. So it's similar to other person. They have a different view, they have a different perspective, they have a different opinion, they value different things. Honor that. And if you don't learn to honor yourself, you could not honor other.
Huge. Huge. Thoroughly agree with that one. And I think that is the step that a lot of individuals tend to miss,
Yes.
is to honor themselves. And in doing so, you're able to have a disagreement with someone else and still allow them to have their dignity and
Yes.
keep your dignity in that.
Yes.
That is huge. If
Yes.
I put you in front of a group of young women, early 20s, what would be your message to them?
On and off, I do think about these questions, and I imagine if I want to share the wisdom to my younger self when I was at 21 years old, the woman received a news of her ex-boyfriend get married after 1 month, broke up with her. I would say, you are lovable. You are beautiful as who you are, and you are whole as who you are. And you are valuable. You are worthy as who you are. And whatever you do to believe in that, to embody that belief in you, that is a cornerstone of everything else. Without that in place, we will seeking external validations. We will seeking solution from out there. We will feel empty. We will feel lonely. We will feel missing. We will craving for love and acceptance. And those, like we are coach, we know those are the reason of despair, of heartbreak, of so many challenges. So that come from the place of within.
And I have a few more questions, but what is the best way for people to reach out to you and to connect with you? What's the best place for them to connect with you?
So if I have a YouTube channel, I also have Facebook, I have LinkedIn, Instagram, and all of those platforms I use the word annangantran. So if
So
they
it's
search
your
that,
name, basically.
my names, if the
That's
client can contact me via any of those platforms.
That's wonderful. I am going to ask you to take me to the period where you did not go through your marriage in 2022. If, after all that personal development, after all the things that you have learned about yourself, and even standing up for yourself to go from one country to another, what was it like still going through a marriage that did not happen?
I could you believe every single day from that day, I feel so blessed.
People are going to go, what? Please elaborate.
I feel so blessed. I'm so thankful to go through that adversity because it's required me to stop. Again, I was looking for external solutions. I was looking for a fantasy, and I ignore the most important person is myself. So that event required me to stop everything and to look inward. And this is crucial. Take accountability for my life, everything. What did you do to accountable for this outcome? And you know what? I every single day I'm so thankful and I'm so grateful, and I still like find out a new wisdom. And people asking me the same question, like, what? Like, are you thankful? Like, you feel blessed? Like, are you crazy? Like, if I were you, I would burn his house. I would burn his car, right? I would not give a second thought about thankful about it. But this is what make a difference. It's all come back to, do you want it badly enough? I wanted a great relationship. I wanted a loving, a beautiful family. That's what I wanted badly enough. Badly enough. Even I didn't bother to point a finger on my ex. It's not worth my energy. Because I want a beautiful, a loving family. I want a great relationship. So I must embody and become a woman who capable of co-creating that things, right? If I'm blaming him, if I behave like victim, if I did not take accountability for what I did, how could I produce or how could I could not be capable of creating the thing I wanted badly enough.
That's
You know,
huge. That is so huge. And I hope the young women that are listening get this, that you turned again internally to evaluate your part in all of this and how you showed up and what was your perspective on things instead of becoming a victim, which is what a lot of individuals tend to do. We turn to victimhood of, well, this happened to me, oh my God. And instead, you took the time to really figure out is how did I show up to this place and who am I being in this? So it's wonderful to hear that you are actually blessed for that event and how you showed up in it. I would love for you to share with people, what would you like to see happening for yourself and for other women in the world?
if I can make a wish, or let's
Mhm.
say my mission, I choose my mission to empower the greatness within you. And let's say if I have only 24 hours to live, what what do I truly want? Like answer that question. What do I truly want for my life? And I realize what I truly want it's not come from me, but it's come from Oprah Winfrey when she had a speech with a group of university students, and she said she truly won what she wanted most. I'm paraphrase it, but the essence is I want to be able to express myself to the fullest and the truest. The expression that the truest and fullest expressions of who I am. And that statement resonated with me so much. So I realized either the role of you as a mother, of a daughter, of a sister, of of spouse, of a wife, of whoever you choose to be, right? We have so many roles in life, but all of that platforms helping you to express the fullest and truest version of who you are.
Beautifully said. One last question for you.
Sure.
Your beautiful dad, who's a very strong man, how is your relationship with him today?
It took me 8 years to heal the relationship with my father. And during that 8 years, I had so much resentment toward my father. But until I learned Demartini method, Dr. John Demartini, I learned the method because I want to take accountability for my life. I uncover all of the benefits, all of the positive aspect from what he did to me that helping me to become a woman who I am. And I realized his actions, even at the time, were painful to me. It's come from a place of love because he loved me. He wanted the best for me. But that's all he know. That's all he have to give. And when I be able to look at that through the lens of understanding, of compassion, of empowerment to take accountability back from my life, I have so much sense of peace because now I understand why he did that. So when I change, when I have that understanding, I change the way I show up, right? It's nonverbal communication. If I show up with peace, with love, with compassion, I show up with different energy. So our relationship is much better. I think we understand the boundary in here, the boundaries in here, and I earn his trust. I earn his respect. And even though he didn't tell me, but he told his friends and people near where we live that he's so proud of me. And that bring me a peace of mind. Like, wow, I earned the most difficult teacher ever in my life. Like, I earned the respect from him.
Are you proud of yourself?
100%.
Is there anything that you'd like to say that I may not have asked you, Anna, so that we don't get off this podcast and go, oh, I wish Rima had asked me this. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
I'm just so thankful for this opportunity and you asking a very, very good questions to taking an audience to go through the journey with me. And I appreciate you so much. If I can say the final things, the final words is um, if you want to master or become a creator of your own destiny, you must take accountability for your life, everything.
Absolutely love that. Anna, thank you so much. And I love you very much. And to our beautiful audience, please remember our attitude always determines our altitude in life. We'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you, Rima.
Thank you, my dear.